Now on Coast TV News.
Firehouse tensions flare. It is the aftermath from the suspension of Lewes's fire chief in July, what we learned from a department meeting held Tuesday night.
High school hopes as upperclassmen return to the Indian River School District.
Definitely outgrew the previous school and we're ready for a new location.
Why one high school has excitement about the new year while another has concern.
One more day with below normal temperatures, then the 80s return on Thursday and continue into the weekend with increasing humidity and a chance of a few showers and storms on Saturday. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. It is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025.
September 3rd, September 4th. September 3rd is football eve for fans of the Eagles.
Those Eagles, yes.
Cowboys too, I guess.
I know, and the good thing is Alyssa, our producer, is a very big Eagles fan. She's off this week, which is good because our director, Howard, is a Cowboys fan. You don't want those people in the same room.
Yeah, that could be chaos in the control room.
So I think it is best that we keep the Cowboys fans and the Eagles fans out of the same workplace.
It's almost as if it was planned. As we bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey. Bob, it might have been chaos in the control room. You have calm conditions to talk about today.
Yeah, we don't want people locking horns over their football teams as the football season is underway. But we are tracking some fog out there this morning. It's back to school for a lot more kids again this morning. So really be careful, be cognizant of the school buses out there. 4 miles in fog in Salisbury. The rest of the region seeing about 10 miles. That said, we're still seeing patchy ground fog here and there, which will burn off here in the next hour and a half. 56 in Millsboro now, 55 in Milford. It's cool out there, 54 in Salisbury, 65 in Lewes. So it's a little warmer at the beaches with mid 60s there. And we're looking at pretty much calm winds as we have high pressure in place. Aside from the fog, we're looking at mostly clear skies, just a few showers offshore. I think those will stay offshore as we have high pressure overhead, but still an onshore flow, and that will keep us below average as we go through the day. We'll be burning off that morning fog to mostly sunny skies through the day. Here's noon. We're looking at low to mid 70s, so still on the cool side. Some beach locations struggling to get out of the 60s, but mainly lower 70s for you with mid 70s inland and looking nice as we go into the evening hours. If you're riding the ferry up to Cape May, looking good. Should be a pretty smooth ride with the lighter winds, temperature starting out in the 60s and then warming into the 70s. We've got 80s on the way finally. I'll have the timing on those and rain chances coming up a little bit later on.
Bob, I know you're tracking the reports of the fog in our area. Let's take a look at the live scene in Salisbury. You know, that nice glow out in the distance as the sun is attempting to come out. A little bit of haze there. And this is at Salisbury University. And with fog on the back roads and other areas, just a heads up as you prepare to head out. Our top story this hour is more on the developing situation involving the Lewes Fire Department and former Fire Chief Bill Buckaloo. Coast TV News was told a public or topic of discussion at a Tuesday night meeting was what the department was going to do about Buckaloo. He was suspended in July. That suspension came after the city received a complaint about Buckaloo's behavior in a local restaurant.
And Coast TV was at that meeting. Multiple members of the Lewes Fire Department tell us they got an email from the department president, Wally Evans. And in that email, Evans says Buckaloo, quote, was accused of loudly using the N-word in a derogatory and loud manner, which was overheard by a black patron. Evans went on to say he spoke with Bill, who confirmed that he made the comment and tried to apologize. The meeting was closed to the public, and we do not have confirmation about what happened.
Now, following Buckaloo's suspension, the Lewes Fire Department held an election to pick a new fire chief. Robert Stevens is now currently serving that fire chief role. And full disclosure here, the current fire chief, Robert Stevens, is the husband of Coast TV's assistant news director and anchor, Madeline Overturf. This brings us to our Coast TV poll, and we want to know, how should Coast Fire Departments respond to offensive behavior? Let's take a look at the updated results.
So far, 45% of votes are for immediate suspension, 34% termination process, 16% mandatory training, and 5% public apology. If you haven't voted yet, you can still do so at coasttv.com or over on our mobile app.
Happening today, upperclassmen at Sussex Central High School will enter a brand new building. Now, we have video from last week at the annual teacher pep rally. Students will see the hallways are wide and spacious. New smart boards and whiteboards are in every classroom. And here was Superintendent Jay Owens last week saying that the upgrade was needed.
It really outgrew our last school. It was built for 1,500 students, and we'll be greeted by around 2,100 students here at Sussex Central High School next week. So definitely outgrew the previous school, and we're ready for a new location.
Construction of the 300,000 square foot school building began in 2022. On Tuesday, ninth graders actually had their first day inside this building, and today it's sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
In the same district that people at Indian River High School are eyeing what their neighbors at Sussex Central just got, officials at the Indian River School say it's already overcrowded by 100 students. The district wants to build a career and technical education center, and they submitted a certificate of necessity to the state. District officials say the new center would cost $36 million. 60% of the total would be funded by the state, and the district would have to provide the rest.
I do believe, though, when it comes to projects such as this with the culinary, and knowing that the southern end of our district is close to the beach areas where tourism, hospitality is a very much needed trade.
For reference on when an answer could be coming from the state, last year the Cape Henlopen School District submitted a certificate of necessity in August and got a response from the state government in November.
Getting a live look now at Washington, D.C. on Wednesday morning. Members of Congress from both sides of the aisle are pushing for the Department of Justice to release all files related to the Epstein case. That is despite the Trump administration saying there's nothing new in those files.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us what Epstein survivors say what justice would look like for them.
For young people using that power.
After years of suffering, 9 survivors or relatives of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse finding strength in numbers.
Alone we are afraid, together we are feared.
Sitting down exclusively with NBC's Hallie Jackson.
How old were you? I was 14.
And standing up for their stories they believe have been sidelined in a political fight over the Epstein files, saying none of them has been contacted by the Department of Justice.
We haven't been protected and we haven't been informed.
The survivors meeting with lawmakers, raising the pressure for the Trump administration to release more documents and reopen the DOJ investigation.
There's been a severe miscarriage of justice, a delay in accountability.
On Tuesday, the House Oversight Committee released more than 30,000 pages of Epstein files subpoenaed from the Justice Department. Most of the material had already been made public. Now, a bipartisan-led petition aims to force a vote on releasing the full files.
We want to bring justice to every single person who was involved in the Epstein evils of the cover-up thereof, but we also want to be equally certain that we protect the innocent victims.
The survivors in this room pushing to maintain what accountability they have seen, urging President Trump to rule out a pardon for convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, angry over the attention she's received for her story and working to center theirs.
On the island.
In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration violated the law by sending the National Guard to Los Angeles. A California judge's ruling found that June's mobilization violated the Pose Comitatus Act, which prohibits the president from using the military as a domestic police force without approval from Congress. 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines were sent to LA after protests in the city over Trump's immigration policies. Tuesday's ruling orders the Trump administration to return control of the remaining troops to Governor Gavin Newsom.
New this morning, Democrat Greg Lindner has filed to run for the 4th Delaware State House District seat in the 2026 election. This could set up a rematch of the 2024 race. That's where incumbent Republican Jeff Pawlowski won by 2,900 votes. According to his bio, Lindner is a retired president of a multinational media company with operations in the U.S. and Latin America.
This afternoon, the latest housing development proposed for southern Sussex County will have a public hearing. It is for the land west of Selbyville on Lighthouse Road. The applicant, Crosswinds Landing LLC out of Timonium, Maryland, is looking to build 352 units. It breaks down to 191 townhomes and 161 single-family homes. That hearing is scheduled for today's 3 p.m. Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And we're just getting started this morning on CoastTV News today.
Yeah, coming up, Claus Cross Summer in the spirit of Groundhog Day. What the state of Maine's version is predicting about the end of the summer season.
Also, emergency alert test with Salisbury University students need to know about an exercise planned at the end of the week.
And calls keep coming. How busy was it for members of the Georgetown Fire Company last month? Find out when Coast TV News Today continues.
6:12 on this back-to-school Wednesday morning for some, and good visibility in Cambridge on the FH Fair Cam. Beautiful there, 55. We are seeing areas of patchy fog, 4 miles in Salisbury. Other areas seeing limited visibility as well. It's that patchy ground fog, which makes it dangerous, so make sure you pack your patience this morning. 50s out the door, inland areas, 60s at the coast, so make sure the kids have some heavier clothing out the door. It's cool. Winds are calm. We'll see the fog burning off the sunshine. We have some showers offshore. I think those will stay there, but we're looking at an easterly flow. It's going to be another below average day as far as temperatures. Bus stop forecast 55, patchy fog, so watch out for the school buses and stop when they stop. Heading home for the kids, mild and dry, mostly sunny and 77 degrees.
This morning we have the statistics showing how active the Georgetown Fire Company was during the month of August. According to the company, they responded to 74 alarms. 43 of those were within town limits. The company traveled a total of 667 miles in those responses. Year to date, the company is reporting 548 alarms.
Happening today, a proposed 396-unit subdivision on Route 1 near Cave Neck Road is up for review at the Delaware Preliminary Land Use Service meeting. According to the site plans, the project is located at Robinson Farm. We're showing you the area right there on your screen. This is across Route 1 from Heritage Antiques Market. It's near the Red Mill Inn north of Lewes. Officials say traffic estimates show it will lead to an increase of nearly 4,000 weekday trips accessing the future Cave Neck Road overpass.
Southwest Airlines says its new planes are now equipped with a barrier to protect the cockpit when pilots need to open their door during a flight. The air carrier's first Boeing 737 with the retractable barrier entered service in time for Labor Day weekend. The Southwest is one of the first U.S. airlines to use it. The secondary barrier resembles a gate more than it does a solid door. Aviation labor unions have been calling for the barriers ever since the September 11, 2001 terror attacks.
Kraft Heinz is splitting into two companies. That's going to be sometime next year. The packaged food business made the announcement on Tuesday. One company focusing on sauces, spreads, and shelf-stable meals. That includes the Heinz, Philadelphia, and Kraft and Mac and Cheese brands. The other company will focus on grocery items for food away from home, such as Oscar Mayer, Kraft singles, and Lunchables. The new companies have not yet been named.
We've been talking about the fog all morning long, and you can see it showing up on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam, shrouding the ground, so really be careful out there. Visibility low in spots, and then that fog quickly burns off after the sun comes up. Low normal temperatures today, then warming up into the 80s finally tomorrow into a part of the weekend. Maybe some showers and storms then. Not a washout, not a bad weekend. Your forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 6:17. We have a live look at the Roosevelt Inlet in Lewes as the sun's starting to come up there in eastern Sussex County along the coast. Bob, we are working actually towards a weekend in Salisbury.
Yes, we are, and I think the whole gang is going to be there from Coast TV. I'll be there from 12:30 to 2. That's at the Wicomico Civic Center, the Shore Living Expo, coming up this Saturday from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. It's a great time. We'll be giving away some swag. It'll be really a lot of fun, and the weather will be pretty good for most of the day. Mix of sun and clouds, 70s, and then 80s, 87 around too. So if you're coming out to the expo, make sure you're dressed for summer, and maybe a few storms into the evening hours as well. Right now, I'm not looking like a big chance. As far as our weather hazard this morning, it is fog. We just saw that in Laurel, much of the ground shrouded in that fog, and we're seeing variable visibility all across the region. So take it slow. It's the first day back to school for a lot of kids. So you see the school bus, stop, slow down, pack your patience. Be careful out there. 56 in Seaford, 53 in Redden right now. A little milder at the coast, 64 Ocean City, Lewes at 66. And the winds are calm. We have high pressure over the top of us with some of that ground fog, but sun's coming up in about a half hour. I should say less than that, probably in about 10-15 minutes, and that'll start burning off that ground fog. We've got some showers offshore. If you look to the east, you'll see some darker clouds, but I think that'll be staying offshore. We have high pressure. It's going to be an onshore flow, keeping our temperatures below average. We've got some frontal boundaries back to our west, a stronger one across the Midwest, and that will start to work our way, but kind of dry out, I think, as we go into the end of the week. Futurecast this morning shows the clouds and fog burning off to sunshine, but it's another cool day. Later this morning, 70s, even still some 60s at the beaches, and by 4 p.m., a lot of coastal locations barely into the low 70s, mid 70s inland areas, and then overnight into Thursday morning, we're into the 50s, and then finally warming up with a southerly breeze on Thursday into the low 80s from Salisbury to Millsboro and Ellendale, and a little cooler at the beaches, but pretty breezy out there as our winds northeast now start to turn to the south as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, and then by tomorrow evening, those winds really gusty, maybe up to about 30 miles per hour at the coast, and that'll be bringing in the moisture, humidity, and the warmth as well. So no more comfortable dew points for a while. It starts getting muggy to very humid Friday into the weekend, then drying out Sunday into early next week as we'll see a series of fronts coming through. I think later Thursday, a shower or thunderstorm stays to our west, and then as we go into Saturday evening, a chance of a shower storm. But you can see not very impressive, not looking at a lot of rain. 78 in Harrington and Georgetown today. Eastern Shore, you're looking at 75 in Cambridge, 80 in Federalsburg, with Berlin and Ocean City at 75. Your Paul Davis 7-day forecast, warming into the 80s. Thursday night football, Eagles and Cowboys on Coast TV Thursday night. Saturday, 88, showers and storms perhaps later in the day. Sunday, cooler 76 and still kind of cool into early next week.
Thank you, Bob. Evacuation warnings were issued for people in Central California Tuesday morning as a wildfire continues to grow. In Stanislaus County, the fire has burned through more than 1,000 acres and forced a highway to close. The evacuation warnings are for parts of Calaveras County. While people living there are not required to evacuate immediately, they are being told to remain on alert if conditions become threatening. The fire is also impacting air quality in parts of Northern California.
Salisbury University says it plans to hold an emergency alert exercise this Friday. It's approximately at 10 a.m. University police will activate the campus's emergency siren. This will broadcast pre-recorded messages pertaining to the situation. Alerts will go off to office and classroom computers, emails, SU video monitors, and text notification. Coming up, lobster predicts summer. Yes, that's what I said. You have to check out Maine's answer to Punxsutawney Phil. Stay with us on Coast TV News today. Happening tonight, President and CEO of BB Healthcare, Dr. David Tam, is scheduled as the guest speaker at the Sussex County Association of Towns dinner. Tam is at the 5-year anniversary mark at BB, and tonight's dinner is at the Lewes Yacht Club.
Happening this weekend, it's the Shore Living Expo. The event celebrates health, wealth, and home on Delmarva. The free family-friendly event takes place Saturday, September 6th at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
A decade-long tradition people look forward to every year in Belfast, Maine. It's Passy Pete. He's back. The lobster made his annual Labor Day appearance to predict whether we'll see 6 more weeks of summer or an early winter. Spectators traveled from Maryland and even Texas to see Passy Pete, the clairvoyant crustacean, emerge from the Penobscot Bay, and this year Pete is predicting 6 more weeks of summer.
Well, Passy Pete could be onto something because Bob says that we're heading for a warm-up.
Yeah, Bob, I like this Pete guy. He is good with summer.
Watch out, Bob. No,
He's a smart lobster. He's avoiding the lobster pot by predicting the weather. Hey, he's been doing it a long time, so good job, Passy Pete. All right, we are looking at conditions at the beaches that will be cool again today, looking at low 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. Rip current threat is still moderate, so be careful out there. UV index highs, waves around 2 to 3 feet. And then low 70s from Fenwick Island into Ocean City. Winds not as strong today, so not as many whitecaps. On the bay side, you'll be warming up the next several days. Today, 78, and then 83 Thursday, 87 on Friday. Where were these temperatures on Labor Day? And then Crisfield, you'll be warming up too by Friday. You're into the low 80s. Could see a slight shower or storm chance into the weekend. Otherwise, we're looking at a warm Saturday and then cooling down again. Much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
Still ahead on Coast TV News today, fiery funnel how this volcano was formed after an eruption in Hawaii.
Also, fire department fallout, the new information on why former Lewes chief Bill Buckaloo was suspended in July.
And back to school buzz, what teachers in the Cape Henlopen district are looking forward to on the first day of class. Coast TV News today returns in a moment.
Now on Coast TV News.
Firehouse tensions flare. It is the aftermath from the suspension of Lewes's fire chief in July, what we learned from a department meeting held Tuesday night.
High school hopes as upperclassmen return to the Indian River School District.
Definitely outgrew the previous school and we're ready for a new location.
Why one high school has excitement about the new year while another has concern.
One more day with below normal temperatures, then the 80s return on Thursday and continue into the weekend with increasing humidity and a chance of a few showers and storms on Saturday. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is September 3rd, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
6:29 a.m. and we have another pleasant day in store.
We've been pretty lucky with weather lately, and Bob said in his opening headline we're going to hit the 80s soon this week. I don't know if we're going to be able to handle that.
It'll be a shock to the system.
It will. We'll have to turn back on the air conditioning. Do you remember what that is?
It's been a while.
It has.
And Bob, I'm enjoying not having to use my AC.
I know, and I think a lot of folks are happy that they're saving money on their power bills by not having the air conditioner on, but I'm sure they're going to start to click on tomorrow as we're getting into the 80s at that time. This morning, we do have areas of ground fog that are pretty thick. 4 miles visibility in Salisbury right now. Elsewhere, not too bad. Well, Cambridge now is down to 1.5 miles, so we are seeing that patchy fog. It's the first day back to school for a lot of kids, so really be careful out there. Pack your patience. Take it slow. We're looking at 65 in Lewes, 65 in Ocean City. Make sure those kids have a heavier sweatshirt at 56 Millsboro, Georgetown 58, so it's cool out there. At least we're not dealing with too much wind, but once again, we're dealing with that fog that will be around probably for the next hour, then it burns off. Seeing some showers offshore right now, but I think we're going to stay dry today. We still have high pressure in place, but that cool easterly flow. Here's Futurecast with the fog burning off this morning. Mid-morning, we're in the 60s. And then it's cool again by noon. If you're having lunch outside, it's going to be a little brisk for this time of year. Low 70s, 60s at the coast. Some places not getting out of the 60s. Otherwise, low 70s at the beaches, mid 70s inland for this afternoon. Here's your Drivecast. We've got the fog this morning, limiting visibility, perhaps less than 1 mile at times. And then much better green light for the PM travel, mild and dry conditions and temperatures into the 70s.
While the backpacks are packed and students are heading back to school in the Cape Henlopen district, a new school year brings a fresh start. The classrooms are clean, the decorations are in place, and the anticipation for the year ahead is ever growing. We spoke with a second grade teacher at Milton Elementary School who told us what she is looking forward to.
They're coming in, they're excited, they're bringing their supplies in, they're going to see who their best friends are here, they're going to create new friends. It's just a welcoming, fun, loving environment.
As students head back to school, we're going to see more school buses on the roads. According to DelDOT in 2024, there were a total of 173 school bus crashes in Delaware, 36 of those in Sussex County. DelDOT is reminding drivers to always double-check crosswalks, use caution in school zones, never tailgate a school bus, and stop when the stop sign arm is extended.
This morning, upperclassmen at Sussex Central High School will enter a brand new building. Now, we have video from last week at the annual Teacher Pep Rally. Students will see the hallways are wide and spacious. New smartboards and whiteboards are in every classroom. Construction of the 300,000 square foot school building began in 2022. On Tuesday, 9th graders actually had their first day inside here, and today it is sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
In the same district, people at the Indian River High School are eyeing what their neighbors at Sussex Central just got. Officials say the Indian River School is already overcrowded by 200 students. The district wants to build a career and technical education center, and they submitted a certificate of necessity to the state. District officials say the new center would cost $36 million. 60% of that total would be state funded, and the district would have to provide the rest.
We have more on the developing situation involving the Lewes Fire Department and former fire chief Bill Buckaloo. Coast TV News was told a topic of discussion at a Tuesday night meeting was what the department was going to do about Buckaloo. He was suspended in July. The suspension came after the city received a complaint about Buckaloo's behavior in a local restaurant.
And CoastTV was at that meeting. Multiple members of the Lewes Fire Department tell us they got an email from Department President Wally Evans. And in that email, Evans says, quote, Buckaloo was accused of loudly using the N-word in a derogatory and loud manner, which was overheard by a black patron. Evans went on to say he spoke with Bill, who confirmed that he made the comment and tried to apologize. The meeting was closed to the public, and we do not have confirmation about what occurred.
And following Buckaloo's suspension, the Lewes Fire Department held an election to pick a new fire chief. Robert Stevens is now currently serving that fire chief role. And full disclosure here, the current fire chief, Robert Stevens, is the husband of CoastTV's assistant news director and anchor, Madeline Overturf.
President Donald Trump is pushing forward with his plan to provide federal force in Chicago.
John Lawrence shows us the decision comes despite opposition of city, county, and state leaders.
It's official.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when, we're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation.
After days of speculation, the Trump administration confirms its plan to send armed military personnel to the Windy City.
Chicago is a hellhole right now.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the land of Lincoln will go to court to fight against the deployment.
The President of the United States likes to go on television and beg me to call and ask him for troops. I find this extraordinarily strange, as Chicago does not want troops on our streets.
At least 58 people were shot in Chicago this Labor Day weekend, according to the city's police department.
Here's the truth. Donald Trump is the last person in America who cares about families on the south and west side of Chicago.
The Chicago Mayor's Office of Violence Reduction says shootings, including fatalities, are on a downward trend thus far this year.
They believe it's acceptable to go from an unacceptable level of crime to an unacceptable level of crime and call that a win.
As for Chicago residents,
sending a National Guard, I believe that it will put us in a situation where the whole city of Chicago will be right back where we started.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Happening today, a proposed 396-unit subdivision on Route 1 near Cave Neck Road will be reviewed by state officials at the preliminary land use service meeting. According to site plans, the project would be located at Robinson Farm across Route 1 from Heritage Antiques Market near the Red Mill Inn north of Lewes. Officials say traffic estimates show it would lead to an increase of nearly 4,000 weekday trips accessing the future Cave Neck Road overpass.
This afternoon, the latest housing development proposed for southern Sussex County will have a public hearing. It's for land west of Selbyville on Lighthouse Road. The applicant, Crosswinds Landing LLC out of Timonian, Maryland, is looking to build 352 units. Breaks down like this: 191 townhomes and 161 single-family homes. The hearing is scheduled for today's 3 p.m. Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Well, we've heard of tornadoes and even fictional sharknadoes, but Tuesday's eruption of Kilauea volcano created something pretty rare. The USGS live stream camera caught a whirlwind kicking up loose ash along the active crater, causing a volnado. The USGS says volnadoes are caused by a mix of hot and cold air. Kilauea erupt's 30-second episode sent lava fountains up to 500 feet into the air. The current eruption has been ongoing since last December.
And we got a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, sounding the alarm on safety, why one Dover councilwoman says security inside Dover City Hall is a concern.
And Milton's new Verizon tower recently went live. Why the tower's location is a problem for some of the neighbors. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
We salute Rick Garloff for his dedicated service in the United States Navy. His commitment to duty and country reflects the core values of honor, courage, and dedication. We thank him for his service and proudly recognize his contribution to our nation's defense.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
6:39 on our Wednesday morning. Here's our gutter helmet cam showing a few clouds floating in from the ocean. 61 in Ocean View right now. We have some fog, 4 miles in Salisbury visibility there. It's better elsewhere, but beware. We do have pockets of ground fog, Eastern Shore, Delaware, and Maryland as we go through the next hour or so. 50s inland right now, so kids going out to school first day, make sure they're bundled up, so to speak, and then 60s at the beaches. We don't have any wind, and right now we're looking at mainly clear skies, some clouds once again with an easterly flow, some showers offshore, but I think we're looking at a pretty good looking day, but another cool day. Golf forecast, boy, my putting has been good the last couple of days. That means good weather on the golf course, mostly sunny, a bit warmer, 78 degrees, and congratulations to Barry Sipple from Lewes on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. Milton's new Verizon cell phone tower is up and running. However, the tower's location is still drawing the ire from some people who live in the town. The 140-foot tower sits on Front Street. Representatives from Verizon say it should improve coverage for roughly 3 square miles in the area. The tower's construction comes after a couple of years of debate between neighbors and town leaders, including a now dismissed legal challenge. One neighbor says the improved service is needed, but there might have been a better way to do it.
I would say it probably is, but maybe there's some downsides to that too in terms of placement of the tower. Again, a new resident in this historical part of Milton. I've heard a lot of complaints, if you will, about the tower being located where it is.
Verizon representatives say the new tower will help support the increased need for cell service in the growing Milton area. It'll give 4G and 5G service to both the town and some of the larger neighborhoods around it.
In traffic news, there will be a special event zone in place in Ocean City on Wednesday, September 10th through September 14th. The town says this is for the OC Rock and Ride Bike Fest. The special event zone reduces established speed limits in the zone and increases fines for violations. There will also be increased police presence throughout the town.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, everyone. Week 1 of college football is in the books, which means NFL Week 1 is up next. But before we hit the gridiron, let's hit the baseball diamond to talk a little more Shorebirds. And the Birds lost a tough one on Tuesday night. It was a 14-2 loss at the hands of the Lynchburg Hillcats. It was a hit parade for Lynchburg as well, as they tallied 15 total, and they wasted no time either. They scored 8 of their 14 runs in just the first 3 innings. Luke Hill, the designated hitter, led the way for Lynchburg with 3 hits and 3 ribbies, while Aaron Walton and Dowry Fernandez added a couple of RBIs each as well. For the Birds, Vahiva Aloy finished a homer shy of the cycle as his red-hot start to his professional career continues. He has been on a tear since joining the Birds. Twine Palmer started and earned the loss as he struggled early, and his ERA shoots up to 4.35 now. The Birds will be back in action later on for Game 2. And fall sports are back, and we're celebrating with a back-to-school special for DSN Plus. You'll get access to multiple live games each weeknight and special streaming-only weekend events all season long. Sign up today at DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com. That'll do it for now for sports. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7, we have live Shorebirds baseball as they continue their series at Purdue Stadium against the Lynchburg Hillcats. And then at 10:30, it is the final score. How about some Fly Eagles Fly, everybody? NFL's back. First game of the season is here on Coast TV. The defending Super Bowl champs are hosting the Dallas Cowboys. It is Thursday, September 4th. You can watch it right here, Coast TV. Coverage begins at 7. Kickoff scheduled for 8:20.
Go-go singer Belinda Carlisle has a new solo album out now, and Rick Damangella talked with Carlisle about Once Upon a Time in California.
Love is but a song to sing, and there's a way we die.
That's Belinda Carlisle's take on the Youngbloods' Get Together.
Come on, people now, smile at each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
The track comes from Carlisle's new album, Once Upon a Time in California, which has a distinct inspiration.
This album are the songs that I listened to when I was a young girl,
growing up in Southern California, when California radio was really special, and they were the songs that inspired me to want to be a singer.
Other artists represented through Carlisle's voice include Gordon Lightfoot, the Carpenters, and Harry Nilsson.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
The thing is, I wanted to keep the integrity of the song, but make it my own.
Covering the Hollies' The Air That I Breathe was a standout moment for the singer.
I kept hearing like something anthemic, and which goes back to a lot of my earlier material, which is very anthemic actually. So that's the approach we took on it. And it was probably my favorite song to sing on the album.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Hope you're enjoying your day so far here along coastal Delmarva, but if you tune into Coast Life at 4 o'clock, it can get even better because we're going to be talking what's new at the Art League of Ocean City. We'll also be discussing their first Friday event, certainly something that you don't want to miss. Also, cozy season is nearly here. Maybe you're looking for a new read and some friends to discuss it with. That is where a new book club might be just your speed. And we're also celebrating the 47th annual Nanticoke Powwow. We've got the details on that and so much more for you today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
We're seeing the sun on the rise on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam, working on some of this fog. It'll burn off here the next hour or so. Then it's one more day with temperatures below average and then warming into the 80s with increasing humidity into the part of the weekend with some showers possible at that time. Not a washout. Your forecast details coming up after the break.
The time is now 6:48 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewes this morning, and we have a beautiful sunrise there. Bob, it is nice to see another sunny day. We have been pretty lucky with this beautiful weather.
We have been, and that sun is going to burn off that fog pretty quickly, I think, as we go through the morning hours, Elisa. But that fog is spreading out a little bit now. Half mile in fog in Cambridge, 2.5 in Salisbury. As we've been saying during the morning show, a lot of kids are going back to school. This is their first day, so really be careful out there. You see the school buses slow down and stop when they stop. Elsewhere, the visibility is a little better, but that said, still seeing pockets of ground fog. That will be burning off the next half hour to hour. 58 Georgetown, 57 in Milton right now. It's cooler inland areas. 52 in Gumboro, 66 in Ocean City. Bethany Beach, 62, so a little milder at the coast as the winds are calm. We have high pressure over the top of us, keeping us dry, but we have that fog, maybe a few clouds moving in from the west, and a few light showers offshore. They really haven't been moving all that much, and I think they'll stay there as we have high pressure in place. That will provide another nice day, but we have this cool easterly flow, keeping our temperatures below average for one more day, and this high is keeping the bad weather out to sea off to our south and west, and we've got another cold front across the Midwest right now. We'll see a series of fronts head our way towards the end of the week into the weekend. Unfortunately, they're not going to have a lot of moisture with them. It's starting to dry out, and I think anything that falls will not be very significant into the weekend as we see high pressure beginning to slide offshore as we go through the rest of the week, and then the humidity will start to return. We're going to start to warm up into the 80s tomorrow with increasing humidity, and then a front back to our west will bring a better chance of showers, I think, into the weekend, but it really won't wash away your weekend plans. As we're seeing futurecasts this morning with the fog diminishing and temperatures still below average today, only mid-70s inland areas and 60s and 70s at the coast. And then through this evening and tonight into Thursday morning, we're looking at temperatures into the 50s and 60s. And then with a southerly breeze, we really start to warm things up tomorrow afternoon. Low 80s from Salisbury to Millsboro and Milton. A little cooler, but pretty windy at the coast with temperatures into the 70s. As we see northeast winds today start to shift to the south, then they get pretty strong Thursday evening, gusting close to 30 miles per hour. And that will be bringing in the moisture and the humidity as well, as we'll start to get into the muggy rain range Friday, very humid into part of the weekend, and then drying out into early next week. As we're tracking a series of cold fronts, the first one's on Thursday into Friday. I think that'll be staying off to our north and west, any kind of moisture. And then Saturday, there'll be a front coming through, but you can see the moisture is pretty limited. Maybe a shower or storm, but right now, not looking too optimistic on the rain front. 78 Georgetown, 75 in Lewes today, with mid-70s from Cambridge back through Vienna, 78 for you, and Crisfield around 73. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, warming through the 80s beginning Thursday. By Saturday, late day storms, 88, cooler Sunday, 76, and still kind of cool into early next week.
Thank you, Bob. Safety and security inside Dover City Hall has one councilwoman sounding the alarm. Councilwoman Danielle Hall says easy access during meetings puts both council and the public at risk. After a summer of crowded meetings and some heated public hearings on crime and gun violence, many council members say more protection is needed for everyone, and they've formed a new ad hoc committee to explore solutions and improve safety in the building. City leaders say they plan to present its recommendations to the full council at the end of September.
Happening this weekend, it's the Shore Living Expo. The event celebrates health, wealth, and home on Delmarva. The free family-friendly event takes place Saturday, September 6th at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the time is now 6:52, and we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Lisa, we love this picture here on your screen. Today's coastal pet of the day loves to look at beautiful skies. Who wouldn't with a shot like that? On your screen, it's Grady Berktold McKay watching the sunrise at Delaware Seashore State Park. Grady was submitted to us by his family in Frankfurt.
I don't know if my dogs would pose that well. They kind of be running all over the place, but we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where the QR code is. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55, and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Milton's new Verizon cell phone tower is up and running this week. The tower's location is still drawing ire from some community members. The 140-foot tower sits on Front Street. Representatives from Verizon say the tower should improve coverage for roughly 3 square miles in the area. The tower's construction comes after a couple of years of debate between neighbors and town leaders, including a now dismissed legal challenge.
This morning, upperclassmen at Sussex Central High School have a brand new building. The video you see here is the pep rally, the teacher pep rally from last week. Students will see the hallways are wide and spacious. New smartboards and whiteboards are in every classroom. Construction of the 300,000 square foot school building began in 2022. Yesterday, 9th graders had their first day, and today it is sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
And the time is now 6:56, so we are going to take another look at our beautiful forecast again.
Yeah, Bob, a little bit warmer on Wednesday.
A little bit today, but then a lot warmer beginning tomorrow with 80s. But we're still dealing with fog, especially from the eastern shore into the Salisbury area. So as we just mentioned, it's back to school. First day for a lot of kids, so take it slow out there, pack your patience, and stop around the school buses, obviously. We're looking at the fog burning off to sunshine, a mix of sun and clouds, upper 70s. Wind's not as strong today. Paul Davis 10-day forecast Thursday, big football day, Eagles and Cowboys in the evening on CoastTV. A high of 83, 87 on Friday, and then into the weekend, not all that bad. I think we could see some late day showers and storms Saturday, a high around 88, and then Sunday, it's Sunday night football as we head into the evening hours, and it's going to cool down, feeling like football weather, mid-70s there, and then mid-70s, and then dry into next week with sun and clouds, overnight lows into the 50s. So becoming a concern, the fact that we're not seeing any rain and not seeing a lot of rain the next 10 days.
Yeah, that was the case last year, too.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Wednesday morning, everybody.